Hello, friends! Welcome to Z Reviews. This portion of the audio has been muted due to a copyright claim that blocked it worldwide. It has since been replaced with my voice, a completely synthetic humanoid female. Please enjoy this cat petting.
Now, I should be a good YouTuber and break this into 2 videos because I'm doing dailies and content means everything. But, fortunately, I've got 2 amplifiers here. The topping PA3 and the topping TP60. So the same brand, and one is $100 or $105-ish, and one is $200. And there's a slight itty-bitty size difference. And I've got them hooked up to the NFJN-FX Audio PW6 that I reviewed separately. And everyone was like, oh, that thing, who cares? And now fucking look at it. So its job is to switch the outputs of these amplifiers into this set of Paradigm Monitor SEs, which I've been reviewing and testing, and now near field is just sweet as a button. Sweet as a piggy button? I don't know. Sweet as a button. Just quiet, Jeremy. So let's talk about these 2 amplifiers, and I'll talk about how they sound different, and then I'll talk about how they don't sound different. Because science. When you see 1-2, that's the big amplifier, that's the TP60. When you see 1-1, that's the little amplifier, the PA3. Although, is it really a little amplifier? Because the power supply is built into this one, and here's one for the PA3. It's not small. This is a 32 volt DC 5.5 amp. So big boy. Actually, really enjoyed that it's a textured top. They actually did something to it. It's wavy, blue light, who cares? Using one of my short cables. I also have the turntable hooked up to this. See, both these amps have identical features. They're both dumb amps. They both have no remote controls, no digital inputs except for the signals. There's no Bluetooth. They're just speaker amps. Showing you the back of one shows you the back of both. On the little PA3, we got the transformer. Then you've got the speaker outs with the small terminals. And then you get 2 sets of RCAs. Both of them have 2 sets of RCAs, so you can switch between input 1 and input 2, input 1 and input 2. Now, on the PA3, you get a combination power button. You hold it to turn the unit off. You press it to turn it on, and then it'll come back. Actually, press it to turn it on. It'll come back in the input you selected, a little blue LED. So input 2 is coming from Micah Shelley's Labs Enog into a splitter block here, which is meant for RGB, into 2 old cables. So I could pick input 1, which is slightly hissing because turntable phono pre, which is now set correctly to moving magnet, or 2, which is the computer. Now, same thing here. The volume knobs are just solidly good volume knobs. A little divot indicator, that's silver. You select the input by pressing that. You select the input by pressing that. This is a full click thing, and power button on this. And when I was doing the switching, because here's the thing, I had this already. I bought this, and I'm like, all right, it's in the same vein as like the DX3. I'm fine. Good catch there, Zeos. The DX3, the MX3, the PA3. I love those 2 units. The MX3 is one of the cleanest sounding desktop amplifiers. So, what can you do if you break that out and give it its own dedicated speaker amp? And it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. It's probably one of the best sounding little speaker amps. Like, I love the little Micah Aura Gain because it's so small, but it has a power brick like this that you hide behind everything, and it's butthurt simple. It doesn't even have a power button. You let it go click, it turns on, and then you adjust the volume. Still love that thing. 50 watts a channel, yay. But that actually has line outputs. Even in the simplest version, it has line outputs and things like that, so you could pass through to a subwoofer. This is dirt simple. Signal in, speaker out, volume knob, turn on or off. So yeah, that's our fingerprint on it. Topping D10. I said that the topping line feels like it's coming from 2 different factories. Well, I don't know what the fuck factory this is. This is like the special industrialized factory that topping runs. Because we can listen to both of these. Which are we on? One? Switch. Pause that for a second. I know copyright's gonna just come. He played 19 seconds of the Jurassic Park opening. That was Jurassic Park, by the way. Great. We could talk about some numbers and then some tech, and then I actually have this one open. We're gonna look inside this one. I can't open this one because I found a post where a man tried to open it and he got that far and destroyed the contacts. So I'm not. You can see it's a solid piece of aluminum. There's no seams except for the front and then the panel on the back. So I think you'd have to pull off this knob, unscrew these 5-way binding posts, then pull the whole thing out, the board itself from the casing. Whereas this one, you take out 4 bolts, loosen the other ones, and then you get... Oh, the show. And this is really interesting because both of these units are hooked up to the same exact speakers. These paradigms are amazing on a desk. They're like, do I take these or KEF Q100 amazing on a desk? Getting to those, separate video. So then why can't I hear a difference between the little tiny amounts of circuitry in here, plus power brick, and that fucking monstrosity? Those are full tordial transformers. This thing weighs. To review this amp, my unboxing, there will be a link in the description to the unboxing of this amp. Or at least to the channel where it's on. This thing weighs more than any other amplifier. I can't drop it too hard. I might just... It's ridiculous. I think it's 10, 11 pounds. Like, I look at my Emotiva Bass X there, and I'm wondering, why is it so light? Because this thing ain't. I mean, it's, even with this cover, this thick... And by the way, these are designed to touch the 2 heat sinks here and transfer heat up to the outside of the case. So it's fine as long as I'm running it open air, but those help with cooling. But even with that off, this thing is massively heavy. These have to weigh 4.5 pounds each, then add the aluminum. And I sit here with the speaker switcher, which I trust because hooked these directly up, went, wow. Hooked the speaker switcher up, went, wow. Everything's good. Short runs, short splits and RCAs are fine. If I split it, went 22 feet that way and back, there might be some degradation, but it's none right now. Oh, I made some very short mica cables because mica doesn't sell 30-inch cables, and I needed to run this on my desk without 6 feet of extra loops. So I took some 12-footers, cut them, threw the extra in a box, use that later. But I can't hear an audible difference between these two technologies. And that's the word here, is technologies. Because that is definitely Class T, Class D. It's digital, it's small, that's how they do it. This, I mean, it's still a TriPath though. It says it right there. TriPath TA20. Korea. This is the same tech, but in this, look at the power supply they're giving. Now I'm gonna blow your minds. You ready for some mind blowing? Let me they're so close. Even if I adjust the volume knob to match, they almost always sound exactly the same volume. And here's why. Because, I didn't know this before I sat down and set all this up. The topping PA3 power ratings for the small one here. 4 ohm, which is a harder to drive speaker. A lot of speakers aren't 4 ohm. 80 watts a channel. Okay? 8 ohm, which is normal. Most house speakers are 8 ohm. 70 watts a channel, right? So 80 watts, 70 watts. Big bastard here. 4 ohm, 80 watts. 8 ohm, 50 watts. This is less powerful than this. And they're both tripath, so you're not getting, you're not grasping like the AB. It's not class AB. I don't. This can't be class AB. It's got a tripath amp in it, right there. Right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Power efficiency, dynamic range, signal to noise ratio, 98 dB. Here's where the difference actually happens. And here is only 89 to 91. So slightly better signal to noise on the giant one. But the thing is, I don't hear it. I'm sitting here now, very good speakers, my playlist, everything hooked up, trustworthy switch box, trying to, you know how hard it is to pick out like 6 decibels of signal to noise down below 80? It's impossible. I mean, you always want to get the higher signal to noise, but this is twice the cost and 12 times the weight, and it is a legit look, here, I'm not going to say either one of these is bad. These are both legit options for your desk. But I'm going to have to side with the PA3 here. It's one of the cleanest sounding desktop amplifiers. Period. Period. Emotiva, this is more, and here's the thing about more powerful. Since they're both using tripath, and usually what happens when you get like class D or digital amplifiers is when they say they're rated to 50 watts, that means they're clean to about 35, and then it's distortion, 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 distortion. Since this is actually rated higher than this, even though it says 70, you could push this to probably 45, 50 cleanly. And this, you could push to, it's rated power 50 because it's not going to run out of power supply. Because no matter what power brick you have here, that is more power brick. That. Fees. End of story. So I want to recommend this one more. It's more the right size for a desk. It's got more power, more accessible. I don't need it. These are not very efficient speakers. These speakers, I think, are 89 decibel. Yeah, they're 89 dB sensitivity in a room. That's not great. Yet I could sit here, turn this on. That's what I want to do. Loving you. Got some Michael Jackson, Loving You. Dexter, Fuego. I want to almost sense that this can push the low end better. But if I blind switch this a couple times, so I don't know if it's on 1 or 2, and I just sit here listening, and the volume is perfectly matched because it's not hard to do, I cannot tell you which amp I'm listening to. I should break this video into 2 parts, 2 days, because I had to build cables to make this happen and getting 1 day out of it. But what you're learning, what I'm learning, is that this exists, it's a monster, and this exists, and I can't tell it from the monster. Because that's 50 watts per channel, but that is not tripath. That's running full class AB that gets hot. This, yeah, it has some heat sinks, but it's still not class AB. What it should be is $300 instead of $200 class A. Give me a 25, 30 watt class A topping, then we got a reason to own it. You'd have to have all the heat sinks. So yeah, these are both exceptional. If I can't tell them apart, and this is the best sounding desk amp you could buy. So if you have a topping PA3, no, this is a PA3. If you have a topping MX3, you have a taste of what this can do. This is just a little bit more robust, a little bit more of this, pushing it. And then if you have, I don't have hard enough, these are hard to drive speakers. I don't have hard enough things to actually probably take advantage of the monstrosity that I'm sitting before me with bigger caps and bigger heat sinks. Because you look, the circuit board is only about this wide. So as much as I'm saying, all that this amp takes up is these 2 giant tordials, which are rated at 0 to 19 volt, 5.26 amp each. So what this is, what are you again? 32 volt, 5 amp. You're 19 volt, 5 amp. And 19 volt, 5 amp. Fungool. So yeah. I don't know what to say. These, but mostly this. You put this cap back on so people stop creaming their pants and try not to get electrocuted because there is 110 running through there. Zeos no want die today. Zeos go get Chipotle. So 1-1, this one, play. 2. If there's a change, it's so small. My ears, which are pretty well trained, even if you all call me a hack job fraud, you listen to enough shit and you actually pay attention, you could usually pull things apart, and I cannot do it today. Today I am lost in these two things. And I would like to tell you that this will end up in a yard sale. This was loaned to me by a user, and this I bought because someone linked it to me and went, hey, have you done the PA3? I didn't even know it existed. Bought it immediately. And I'm going to tell you about my Patreon yard sales, where from the 1st to the 10th of every month, items that I have purchased, like this, headphones that I have purchased, items that users have sent in to donate to the channel that I can sell, will be sold in the yard sale from the 1st to the 10th of the month to my $5 and higher patrons. However, Rocky Mountain Audio Fest is coming up in Denver, Colorado. In early September, I will be there hosting a giant presidential suite, and I will be showing off things exactly like this. Cheap and fantastic. Cheap and fantastic. These might have to come. They're so good near field. So if you want to fund that, because the GoFundMe for that is aiming at like $25,000, because the room itself was $13,500. We haven't even got to the room, although a few companies have showed interest in like sponsoring it. If we take their stuff, SVS, Linsol, trying to see if Micah or anybody else. I'm bringing. Here's the deal. Even if that doesn't get funded, and even if companies aren't willing to sponsor it, I'm going there to show off things that are cheap and great. Because people need to know things are cheap and great. I'm tired of going to Rocky Mountain and hearing nothing I can afford. And I'm sure many people are. So things like this son of a bitch is going to be on a desk in a near field setup with speakers like these, and you're going to go and sit down and you're going to hit play. What would I do without yours? I want people to have a moment. I'm looking to give people moments of like, this is possible, and it is. So that wallpaper Akko looks cute with a little ice cream. She's not causing a fucking mess. These speakers, these 2 amps, this thing again, all linked in the description. I was gonna turn on the turntable, and I was gonna do one of those, and then I was gonna set this to input 1, and we're on input 1. This was a album, by the way, given to me by Mr. Buchart himself when he sent me the S400s. This is Aztec. Imbalance perfect. I think that's what it is. Yeah, imbalance perfect. And it's decent. So, maybe a link to this if I can find it. I know it came from Denmark, right? Right? This is what came with it, I think. Either way, if you own the big one, you're fine. Enjoy it and love it. Just know that if it takes up too much space in your desk, you could chuck it off the side of your boat so you get better fuel economy, and then buy one of these. That's it for this review. I will see you all again tomorrow for another one, and my craziness will continue.